Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Alex StarCraft here, bringing you guys the ace match in this best of 3 series between the oh-so-wonderful Empire Violet, or Violet, as you look at his name, with the capitals in the center, as the blue Zerg in the top left-hand corner, and in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Mill Stephano. That is, of course, Millennium Stephano. That is a French-based team, I believe. Stephano, of course, being a Frenchman. Violet being a Korean who has not really been in Korea for a long time. He's trained in America, all over the world, essentially, but not so much Korea, playing on foreign teams. So he is, of course, a very, very good player himself. Stephano being, however, one of my personal favorites. I'll try not to let the bias show through. Violet is probably my favorite Korean Zerg, except maybe Nesty, just because he's absolutely amazing. And, of course, he's now playing in the series. And remember last series, if you didn't watch it, go click on the link at the bottom that might be there nowish or earlier and will be at the end of the game. Remember how I was saying in Zerg versus Zerg, you have kind of a rock, paper, scissors. You will have either a hatch first or an early pool or a 14-14, which isn't totally rock, paper, scissors, but it does happen. Well, kind of here we go. We do see Violet actually went for a 10 pool into a double extractor trick, then following it up with the Overlord. And my question is he going to have 3 larvae? Yes, he should. You see, 1 larva spawns every 15 seconds. There's still about 10 seconds left on this hatchery, so he should have 3 larvae by the time this packs. So this is what people might call, oh, look at that, perfect timing, but what people might call an eco 10 pool, something like that, just like there can be such a thing as an eco 6 pool, just because the fact that, yeah, you're making 6 Zerglings, but you're getting a queen, you're getting 12 drones off of that. So you see he's actually only behind his opponent by 3 at this point. He's not going to be like rallying only Zerglings. You see making 1 more pair, but I imagine he won't be making too many more. And we see him already making another Overlord up to that 17 supply, getting a gas. And of course we do see Stephano opted for that hatch first, so throws it down in the center of his expansion. Don't know why I noted that as anything abnormal. And then followed up with the gas and pool, of course, the gas allowing him to go ahead and get that stuff. Actually, he cancels it. Oh, I think he cancels it because he saw his opponent's Zerglings and saw there was no expansion. So he said, okay, I need to make sure I get out Zerglings. I need to make sure I get out Queens. I need to make sure I get out Spine Crawlers as soon as I can. And now the Zerglings are in his base, and Stephano going to have to micro. Now he is going to be trying to float his drones over the Zerglings and get us around. Otherwise, not going to try and let them attack. Wants to try and mine as much as he can, and now his spawning pool is done. He's going to be making 4 Zerglings in production right now and just microing, holding out until those come in. He gets a fairly good surround on the Zerglings, but he's still going to be losing a lot of drones. We see them falling pretty rapidly, a lot in the red and orange. They do go down, and now there's only 2 Zerglings remaining, and Stephano's Zerglings will be able to deal with that just fine. So let's take a look at what happened with that. So we do see Violet up 15-10 on the workers. He's ahead on his speed, and he will be ahead on Banelings or whatever tech he chooses to do. Now Stephano is behind on workers, but only by 1 now that he spent his larva and managed to drone back up. He does not have a queen yet. He will have a spine, but he does have 2 bases, which automatically gives him more larva. So we do see that both players managed to come out of that relatively equally. And the game will continue, hopefully be a great macro one, but either way, I find Zerg versus Zerg very exciting, one of the more high-octane matches, as opposed to how ZVT and or ZVP often end up, where it becomes a little bit passive near the middle of the game, where you'll see one player kind of turtling, not so much happening. Wow, we do see Violet actually pulling a significant number of drones off the line, trying to stop Stephano from maybe scouting, or maybe stop him from picking off any individual drones, stopping him in that choke right there, of course. Makes the Zerglings not be able to get through. And we do see Stephano actually opting to throw up another Spine Crawler, just wants to be super safe. And this is actually one of the very important kinds of micro you have in Zerg versus Zerg. You have, of course, that Baneling micro, but then you also have Queen and Spine Crawler micro. As weird as that might sound, particularly the Spine Crawlers, because if they're going for something like a Baneling all-in, you have to focus down the Banelings, because otherwise they could get into your mineral line. And if Banelings get into your mineral line, you're going to have a bad time, to reference South Park. And, you know, that's never fun. So what does Stephano see? Did he see any of these? He would have seen the Zerglings running across the map, of course, with these 2 Overlords right there. But does he know there are Banelings? Now he will definitely know that there are Banelings. He's going to be making more Spine Crawlers and more Zerglings. We see him splitting his Zerglings preemptively and actually having them hold position. He does have the wall right here with them running the drone, so he does not lose any of those. Now there are going to be 3 Banelings chasing the drones, but wow, 3 Banelings for 2 drones. Not very cost effective, and we see Stephano coming out of that not only with 100 supply units lost to lead, but with a worker deficiency, actually. And I'd imagine a lot of that is because he was going to be building more Spine Crawlers and a bunch of Zerglings. His queens are off the line, so maybe not injecting as quickly as they might be able to. But you do see, of course, he catches up pretty quickly right here with 3 drones in production. He's going to be grabbing more gases. And Violet, again, only just now grabbing the expansion. So we look at the income. We see Violet oversaturated right here. So Stephano's income actually a little bit higher. So again, both players coming out fairly even. And that is, of course, good for us as spectators, because it means that we will be able to see, hopefully, a long, nice, really cool ZVZ macro game. Now Stephano needs to get these guys on gas. He wants to try and get that Zergling speed very fast, of course, just because he does not have it yet. You see these slowlings trying to catch the fast ones, and they're like, why are you so much faster than me? And they unfortunately cannot catch Violet with a huge transfer down and some defensive Banelings and a Spine in the front. And what are these players going to be doing? Violet has his lair already on the way. Stephano with 2 Overlords on the way, Creep Tumor, and finally that Zergling speed starting to spread the creep at the front. Throws down 1 Evolution Chamber, very nicely placed, so this way things cannot run into the main without first running around, particularly if he puts the Queen right here. They might actually have to run around the whole hatchery. Putting another Evo Chamber over here, which kind of seems to be maybe a bit of an arbitrary placement, but it'll also make a little bit of a choke right here, which could help him later in the game, and as well a little bit of a choke right here, as opposed to having to wait until they're behind the gas geyser. So that little bit of building positioning can make a huge difference in these games, particularly when you have so many very fast units running around the map. And of course, one thing I want to note, Violet's been doing this exact same build almost this entire series. He gets 1 gas for the early game, and then transitions into 3 gases. Now 1 Zergling almost gets in, but unfortunately it sees nothing but the drone count right here, which is of course helpful for Violet anyway. So we see an 2 Evo Chambers, 2 Spines, 6 Zerglings, no Spire. So maybe Violet isn't going to be going for that Spire play this game, or that Muta play. Nope, there's the Spire. I lied. He's going to be doing it. Stephano consistently doing the same thing, getting these melee and carapace upgrades as opposed to any kind of missile and carapace upgrades, which would of course be indicative of Roach play. Considering he does not have a Roach Warren, I'd imagine he's not going to go for Roaches. Now he's finally starting to get his drone count at his natural up to par, throwing down these gases as well. Would not be surprised to see him maybe transfer a few of these down, as he's a little oversaturated. We have a lot of links sitting outside of Violet's base right here, but Violet with plenty of Banelings, some pretty nice Sim City with these Spines and Evo Chambers, and already spreading creep to his 3rd. So both players should have no problem really defending their front, unless Violet chose to send in all those Banelings and Zerglings, go kind of for a crazy 11-minute all-in, and we see Stephano with the earlier 3rd, which he's also kind of done consistently. But once again, there's about to be Mutas on the field, and Stephano just finishing up his lair, throwing up a macro hatchery. Are his Infestors, Queens, and Spore Crawlers going to be enough to hold against the Mutalisks? We will have to see. He's got about 13 seconds before that pop. He's going to break down these rocks, making it easier for, of course, his Queens and wanted to get to his 3rd. He's actually going to send out this Queen, kill that Overlord, and that's going to be nice for him. Violet actually morphing it into an Overseer, and this will allow it to finish before the Queen can see it. You see health bar going up faster, or down fast, slower, then the progress bar is going up. So that is going to escape. And also, one thing to note, Overseers do morph out with full health once they complete. So again, very nice from Violet, saving the Overlord right there. And little things like that, that's a larva, that's a drone. You know, that's not getting supply blocked. And he does have 5 Mutas on the way right now. And again, consistently, he's only gotten 5, 6, 7, a fairly low number. And in the meantime, Stephano going to be actually running out with a lot of Zerglings, but he definitely has to be careful. There's a lot of Banelings here. 1 Baneling goes off, gets 4 Zerglings right there. Stephano doing some good job microing. 2 more, get a few more Zerglings right there. But again, Stephano doing a very great job. Is he going to get any of it? That last Baneling, though, not such great control from Stephano. Unfortunately, he does lose a lot of Zerglings to that. But that's one of the hardest types of micro in the game. It's so fast, particularly engaging on creep like that. And Stephano now does have the +2 Carapace well underway. Does he have any Spore Crawlers? He does have one at his third, one at his main, and one in progress at his natural. Does he have many Queens? He only has the 3 Queens, but with some creep almost linking them, there he is going to be able to link them. I'd also love to see him do it back here, and we do see a Creep Tumor lined up. So he can defend that pretty well, and of course this works against the 5 or so Mutas that Violet likes to get, but maybe not so well against a higher number, but you know, Stephano, as long as he wins, not the end of the world. That's just me thinking out loud for those people on ladder who go only Mutalisks like the entire game. Stephano going to maybe try and pick off some drones, but doesn't want to risk losing too much of the Banelings. No, he does manage to pick off a few very nicely. And more Banelings going off, forced off in the mineral line, and now the Zerglings are free to do as they want in the mineral line. He's actually going to go ahead and try and kill the third Violet with a bunch of Roaches in production, but he's not going to be able to save this. He has some Mutas trying to kill, but Mutas do not actually do a lot of damage, and now he's going to possibly engage the drones. No, he opts to just run out. And so now Stephano, even though he's behind on workers, we see he is ahead on income and can get ahead on gas income for all of those infestors. He has the burrow, he has burrow on the way, but that's actually Violet. Stephano does not have burrow on the way. I keep getting these two players' production tabs confused because I'm just thinking, okay, I'll just look up and find the Zerg production tab, and then they're actually both Zerg. I haven't casted a ZVZ in a long time. Now Stephano making a lot more links, and I can see why the effectiveness of this build actually works, just because the fact that he can I'd say the advantage of Muta Ling is the fact that, you know, you have one of the most mobile armies in the game. Now, the thing is with this Infestor Ling, with the Fast Hive, of course, is the Lings can be just as mobile. They can snipe your opponent's third and do a good amount of work if your opponent's not paying attention. And additionally, the fairly quick Infestor is not inhibited by the gas needed for Roaches or Roach upgrades, of like the Burrow and the Roach Speed, for example, are definitely going to help contribute to your infestor count. If you just get one good fungal with your queens, with your spore crawlers, then, you know, you can kill all the mutas they have, even if they have 30 just fungal and a few infested Terrans, and you will be in great shape. The Violet is going to get the infestors, or the mutas, into the main. The queens are going to be going at them, though, and the mutas run, but he does manage to get 4 of them with the fungal, and that is going to be it for these mutas. You say they die fairly quickly to those queens, especially when they're being fungled as well. And Stephano actually looks like he's going to try and make a transition into roaches. We actually see a Nidus Worm about to complete for Violet, and this is something we saw him do in the Red Bull LAN earlier, or the Red Bull Battlegrounds earlier in the series versus Stephano. Go check out Game 1, please, ladies and gentlemen. And additionally, he also did in the Spring Arena quite a few times in games versus Symbol. And it is a very good way to get your roaches around the map. Makes them very, very mobile, particularly, or comparable to a Ling-based or a Muta-Ling-based army. Now, it looks like Stephano is going to try and make a push. And Violet has a bit more supply than his opponent. He has more roaches. They have slightly better upgrades, it seems. I'm trying to find a roach to click. Looks like they are 1-1 to 2-0, so very similar. Stephano is going to be throwing out some infested Terran, and then goes ahead and runs in with all his Zerglings, all his roaches. Will get a huge fungal off on his pack of roaches right here, with the 4-ish fungals it takes to kill the pack. But Stephano actually not with great positioning. His opponent has the concave. Stephano's forced to pull out. Again, a little behind on supply. Both players producing huge numbers of roaches, though. We see Stephano, he is behind on workers, but he's had this third base for a longer time, so he had a bit of a bigger bank. That's why he was making more roaches. And again, some beautiful fungals right there. Violet actually doesn't really have any infestors, so that is going to be hurting him for sure. Now, Violet is going to unburrow on top of the roaches, but Stephano, again, can go ahead and fungal. He needs to make sure not to lose these infestors to these roaches, and unfortunately, it looks like he's going to. He did spend all his energy on infested Terrans, so he's not going to be able to fungal those. But in the meantime, it doesn't matter if you lose the infestors. If you can win the game, Stephano is going to be pushing his opponent back, running around the infestors, distracting those roaches for as long as possible. Now he's going to be pushing into his opponent's base, and look at the stream of units rallying on the mini-map right there. And now, of course, he is going to be engaging. He's going to have the concave this time. His upgrades are significantly better than his opponent's now. Actually, it seems like both players actually have 2-1 at this particular moment. But Stephano looks like he has more units on the field. He is up by about 30 supply at the moment. He has more roaches here for sure. Violet trying to manage his roaches, rallying in from all different places. Both players' APM skyrocketing, trying to stay alive right here. So Stephano is going to go ahead and run in here, try and engage these drones. He might choose to focus down the hatchery, but no, he's going to be killing a lot of drones. Income of Violet is going to be falling now. He is not mining off a third, and he's about 10 drones behind his opponent at the moment. So Stephano with Lings and roaches rallying all across the map. We see it. just a stream of reinforcements. A little small right now, but he's probably in between injects. He has killed his opponent's third off, and he's going to try and break up into the main. Now, there's some nice Sim City here for Violet. Could get a great concave right around there, but there's so many roaches for Stephano. Violet is very far behind on supply, and he is fighting to possibly stay alive in this tournament. If he cannot get enough wins in the pool, Stephano included, he will not make it into the next round, but it looks like all the drones of Violet are going to be falling. He is down by almost 100 supply to his opponent. Spinecrawler doing a lot of work right here, up to 4 kills, Hero Spine, but there's the good game, well played from Violet, and Stephano takes the series 2-1 with some very nice Ling and Fester play, which I've actually not seen very often, favoring a Hive Rush, this game opting to go for Roaches instead, but great series no matter what. I'll hopefully be bringing you some more in the future. Now, if any of you have any sort of requests, again, I'm still small enough that I can see all you guys, everything you guys post. You post the comments. I look at almost every single one. If you have any requests for more Violet, more Stephano, more ZVZ, more not ZVZ, anything from the Red Bull Battlegrounds this weekend, I'll be happy to cast it. Just let me know. So thanks very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Like my videos, subscribe, it helps me out a lot. Follow me on Twitter at LXStarcraft, ELYK Starcraft, and watch me at Artcraft Gaming. Head over to artcraftgaming.com for more details on that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful morning and wonderful day.